Ash Wednesday here at Old Stonewell Farm, and it's so great to have you join me. Even though the birds are singing this morning, there's a chill in the air. I could feel it in the old plank floors of this 18th century home as I go to put my slippers on. It's Ash Wednesday, and I have the old hymn playing in my head. Jesus walked this lonesome valley. There's so much work that is waiting for me today, but I'm just going to tune it out because there's just too much stress and pressure right now. And I need to take that lonesome walk in a valley to be with God. Feeding the chickens every morning is a very prayerful act for me. It connects me to God's creation. It connects me to this earth. It reminds me not to always take for granted the food that I have on my table, because this morning there just weren't any eggs in the nesting boxes. But the act of showing up every morning to care for someone else is a reminder to me that we are all connected and that we are to care for one another. Ash Wednesday always seems so somber to me, but in the somberness there is great beauty. For in that somberness, when we allow ourselves to really enter into the brokenness of the world and the grief and the reality that tomorrow isn't guaranteed, then when we enter into that reality, when we embrace that, then we can truly start to live. But life always brings choices to us, and after I was finishing feeding my chickens, I noticed that some animals left some prints in the snow, and their path kind of diverged two different directions. And I just stared at their little prints, thinking, yes, in this life, I'm always presented with choices. As our Lenten journeys begin with Ash Wednesday, with us remembering that our life is fleeting and that we belong to God, that we have an opportunity each and every day to choose God's path. Yet oftentimes it's so hard to choose the right path, to really hear God's voice. I think that is why I like the season of Lent and why I honor Ash Wednesday. Traditionally, it was when people went to repent and get right with God, they would put sackcloth on and sit in ashes. I sit here on top of Sophie's Hill, named after my deceased Bernese mountain dog who used to love running up this hill. And I sit here and I ponder, what are the choices that I need to make? But I ponder more, where is it that I need to step out in faith? But before we step out in faith, we need to open our hearts to God. We need to cleanse our hearts. And that's what Ash Wednesday allows us to do. I always recited Psalm 51 when I served a parish on Ash Wednesday, where the psalmist proclaims, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and put a new and right spirit within me." The sun is coming up over the ridge here at Old Stonewell Farm. And I decided that this is the day that I'm going to take to be still before God and to feel the grit of the ashes. I've had a crazy week. And I just want to share with you that in one of the meetings I've had this week, I left very disturbed. There was just a sense of distrust and competition among those of us who are called to be colleagues. And I don't like that. And that reflection isn't meant to be negative. And please don't think that I'm sad or depressed. I'm not. This is just life. And I really do believe that it is in feeling these emotions, facing these feelings, walking head on into the grief and sadness and the brokenness of the world, that's how we heal. That's how we emerge with more understanding, more empathy. Ash Wednesday is a day to remember that we will once again return to God. It is also our opportunity to surrender and to really invite God in to making us new again. From dust you come, to dust you shall return. Well, I want God to make something new out of that dust of mine. If you don't happen to get to a church service, or you don't have a pastor to give you ashes, if you happen not to have ashes, if you're someplace warm, unlike here in Vermont, and there's mud on the ground or dirt, take some dirt and then place a cross on your hand. Feel the grit. And if you don't have any dirt around or any mud, then you know what? Take some snow and just make the sign of the cross in the snow on your hand. Take whatever might be that God is offering and just draw a cross. And as you do, open your hearts and pray. From dust we come, to dust we shall return. O God, today let this be the day we give up who we've been for who we can become.